the music is ending. It's time for us to talk. How are you, boy?
I'm great, Karol. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is, I think it's going to be one of my favorite episodes ever.
And we're just starting.
Yes.
Yeah. This is episode 11. Congratulations.
Already. Wow.
I read the other day that most podcasts don't make it to 10. So we're at 11. So we're a success. Hooray.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Let's celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Today we're talking about young entrepreneurs. The youthful ones, right? The kids who are coming and asking for money and looking to start their businesses. And as we have seen, some of these young entrepreneurs are very ready. They come prepared. They have the credit history already that they need. And we have a lot also that are showing up asking a lot of questions, just unaware of what they don't know. And we should emphasize there's no such thing as a dumb question when it
That's
comes to
okay. Yes.
when it comes to starting a business and
Mhm.
funding a business. And we're happy to answer any and all questions. But let's talk about some of these young entrepreneurs that we've met as recently as yesterday,
Yes.
that have come to us with ideas and funding needs, and what we have been able to do and what we can do for them. I have a list of key points that I want to make sure that we discuss today.
Please.
The
Yes.
first one is there is a place for young entrepreneurs. You might not know what you don't know, so
Mhm.
call us. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And this is an important one here. Young entrepreneurs struggle with thin credit history or starter credit cards with low credit limits. And we'll share the mathematical formula later that we use
Yes.
to project how much new funding we think we can get for you. But those are three key points we're going to discuss. So let's start with the first one here. A couple weeks ago, we had a young husband, young father, in rural Indiana. He had started his own IT company, and he came to us looking for some funds. Do you remember this?
Absolutely, I remember him, and yeah, how could we forget about him? Mhm.
Yeah. So he was in a little bit of a tight spot because he had started his business, but there really wasn't much traction. He wasn't having predictable revenue. He wasn't winning clients consistently. From what I remember, he didn't really have a very clear pricing plan or options or subscriptions or anything,
Or
which,
business plan.
not a really
Mhm.
great plan. And
Mhm.
I remember even trying to find the map of his city on Google was very difficult because the city was so tiny. And I remember saying, are you sure that there's enough business in your town to support you full time?
I remember seeing you, and I remember seeing you like in your dad mode because you were asking him, you know, those thoughtful dad questions about his business, the area, how was really the industry in his area,
Yeah.
thinking, even
What's his
asking
ideal
him,
client?
yes, and if he
Yeah.
was feeling willing to step out of that area to find new clients, being willing
Yeah.
to travel maybe,
Hmm.
and what was his
Yeah.
plan to grow. And I remember we finished the call, and I was like, I've never seen you like this, trying to talk out someone from
Trying to talk him down, actually. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. I
from
was
a
actually,
funding option.
yeah. And that's a rare thing. But
Yeah.
like you said, I was in dad mode. He's the same age as I have three adult sons now, and he's right in their ages. And I'm like, okay, if I were talking to one of my boys about this, these are the questions I'd have to make sure they had answers to, before we help them get funding. And so this is a wonderfully nice guy. I really liked him. I think that's
Yes.
why I went into dad mode. Um, and so we actually then said, we're going to try and talk you out of borrowing this money.
He
He,
was so appreciative of
yeah,
that.
he was surprised and
Yes.
appreciative. Yeah.
Mhm.
But he was hoping to get maybe $25,000 to kind of help the family budget until his business got moving. It got, started generating revenue. And as we talked more and more about it, we realized there wasn't really a plan or any immediate likelihood that the business would suddenly right itself and generate revenue. And so even though he actually qualified for $40,000, he was asking for 25. we ran the numbers and figured out he qualified for 40, which made him think about it again. He said, "Ooh, maybe I
Yeah.
do want that." And I said, "Well, you take the weekend and you think about it." And so when he finally got back to us, he said, "Okay, we've decided not to move ahead." And I saw that we both wrote back to him, "Good decision."
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. If he'd wanted it, we would have got it for him. But I'm glad that we actually talked him out of moving ahead with that 40,000, because look, if you have a small business and it's starting to work, and you can feel that success is just around that corner, and you have a plan, um, and you just need some money to fund some more marketing or a new hire, or something that's actually going to help move the business forward, that's smart debt. That's smart. Get the funding, spend the money, and grow the business. But he was just trying to patch the family budget in the meantime, and that's the worst reason to go into debt, is to try to buy the business more time in that way.
Yes, because I've
So
noticed in his phone call, he was so eager to be more at home, help out with his young
yes,
children.
two young kids.
Yeah, so many projects
Yeah.
at home that he wanted to be able to take care of.
Hmm.
And yeah, just for me also, because I've been there before,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
you have to really think about the cost and benefit, and maybe this is not his time right now, but it could
Right.
be
Right.
later.
It could
Mhm.
be later.
Mhm.
And we made a good point of pointing out to him at the same time,
Mhm.
this isn't debt that you're taking on, this is available credit. It was a line of credit. It wasn't a term loan. We'd put the money in his bank account and he has to start making fixed monthly payments. This was money that would be available. Use it, pay it down, use it, pay it down. But I just thought of his wife and his two kids, and I thought, don't put that burden on your family at this point. If you got to go find a job, go find a job. Don't borrow money to keep this business afloat the way it is right now.
And I
So
remember he also mentioned in one of our phone calls, because we have
we
we
had
we
several.
we have several
Yeah,
trying to come up with ideas or
yeah,
solutions,
yeah,
or just brainstorming together. That he also mentioned, no, but now I want 40 because my wife also started a business last year, and she is kind of taking off, and we were like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah, she had
Mm-hmm.
one too. So they were temporarily interested in the 40, but we talked them out of it, and I'm glad we talked them out. That's a feather in our cap, to have talked somebody off of the cliff of getting funding for a business that didn't really have a plan, didn't have a
No.
whole lot of hope. So
But I think the four of us, counted his wife, after the decision, we all were relieved. And
yeah,
that was a
everybody's
good
like, yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody can sleep at night. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. That's so important.
Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday we had another young entrepreneur calling us about buying a laundromat.
Yeah.
I must have missed the news piece the other night about how laundromats are the new hot thing to buy. But evidently, I guess they are. I mean, I know from a cash flow perspective, they can be very, very good, assuming you don't buy one where you immediately have to replace all the equipment. But um, so this young guy, and again, the age of my adult sons,
As when we say young entrepreneurs, he's a
yeah,
teenager.
almost a teenager.
Yes.
He was just, yeah, in his
Mhm.
20s, but still
Mhm.
still young. And
Yeah.
so he said, "Hey, my friend has a laundromat for sale, and I want to buy it." Okay, great. And I think the first question I asked him is, "What's the sale price of the laundromat?" And he didn't know. So he said, "Okay, back up, back up, back up. We need to first walk you through how these kinds of things work." And having started or purchased 8 different businesses in my career, I know how this works. So
Mhm.
we explained to him, first thing you have to do is identify the purchase price. And as soon as you agree on a purchase price, then you apply for the loan to buy it.
Yes.
But in that purchase price, you have to figure, what's the revenue, what's the profitability, and there's all these factors. It's not just, well, we agreed on the price. So he said, well, you got to get 3 years of tax returns of the business that's for sale, and we'll get these, and look them over. And we introduced him to the concept of a debt service coverage ratio, which is a fancy way of saying or asking, does the business right now have the cash flow to pay the loan of the
Exactly.
new buyer and still pay the new owner a reasonable salary.
And he
And
asks you, and what is a
what's the
reasonable
reasonable
salary?
salary? I said, well, not a dollar. You know, it's got to
Yes.
be what would you hire somebody? What would you pay somebody to run the business? You know, you got to be reasonable with yourself too. And because the lenders and the IRS are going to look at that too. It's like, well, this has to be real. So there were a lot of things that he just didn't know about the buyer acquisition process. He said they weren't using a business broker. It was just him and his friend having the conversation. I really should have insisted or recommended that they hire a broker or at least an attorney to help because they don't know all the questions that they need to ask buyer and seller together. Um, but anyway, we talked about that purchase price and the debt service coverage ratio, and then talked to him about what kind of down payment he was going to have because he wasn't
And he
sure of
was
that either.
surprised.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't have 10% to put down." He was assuming he would need $350,000, but they didn't have a purchase price even settled upon yet. So maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I explained you're going to probably have to put down 10%. And then after you close on the deal, you're still going to have to show the bank you have another 10% just ready, in the bank as cash. It's called post closing liquidity. And he was surprised by that too. It's better to ask now than get far into the process and find these things out. Um, so that was an interesting conversation that we had
Mhm.
with him just yesterday. I'm eager to see
And
where it
you
goes.
went full on mentor mode with him, which I love because he was and you need also to have that open attitude if you don't have the experience, the expertise to be able to take the notes, take all in, take all the information you can, ask all the questions
Hmm.
that you can, and then ask for mentorship or resources available so you can really um, take more advantage and not just go blindside to your first brand new business.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I remember we're gonna have another conversation because I'm gonna have to come back and talk with my friend about
yep,
all of this. And we were like,
yep,
right,
yep.
this
Yes, you do.
is
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what you need.
So you mentioned resources that can help somebody who is buying a business or starting a business for the first time, and of course, we got to give our love and shout out to SCORE mentors and
Absolutely.
SBDC
Hmm.
consultants and the great work that they do for free, helping anybody in America with their business plan, learn what they need to learn. It's an astonishing amount of help, and it's free for any entrepreneur who wants it, even an existing business owner wants some help, has some questions, wants more training, SCORE and the SBDC make it happen for free.
And
It's
and
wonderful.
even universities and colleges that they have a business program, they have this business hubs,
Often do.
business yes, that they
Yeah.
offer mentorship, they offer
Incubators, hubs,
yeah.
yeah, resource hubs, all sorts of things. So
I just
it's out
love
there.
that more young entrepreneurs are out there, trying to get better and better to start their new businesses ideas
Yep.
with their buddies, with their friends, but
Yeah.
getting out there. So,
Yeah. So those resources are there and they're
mhm.
free and they're wonderful. And the better prepared you are to get your funding, the more likely you are to get funding. And that's always important for them to know. Okay. Um, Another one from yesterday. I believe it was
Yes.
yesterday. Coach K, as we've
Coach
chosen to call
K.
her, she called in at the behest of her mother, who had watched one of our webinars back in January, and then I think she's watched every webinar and podcast we've done since, and has been building her own business credit and getting things ready for her business. But her daughter, who we'll call Coach K, they called us yesterday, and we had a really interesting conversation because she was extremely well prepared.
Absolutely. And she knew which questions she should ask, and then she knew everything about her credit. She worked really hard along with mom, great mentor. Shout out to her
Yeah,
because great
prepared her
mentor for
well.
her. And she mentioned also that she's her second child, going towards entrepreneurship, and she's just been trying to mentor, support, be their best cheer leader, and being able to help them as much as she can, which I really, it really stuck up to me, because I have my own at home that he's just so eager to start his new little businesses, and I'm like, okay, I'm just absorbing everything I can so I can help you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah. So Coach K was ready. Now she had put together. She'd already done all her projections and budgets and everything, and she was working off of a marketing budget of $25,000. And so she told us yesterday, if I can get $25,000, that'd be great. And so we had her credit report in front of us,
Mm,
and our little mathematics told us that she would qualify for,
even
remember how
more,
much? Even more.
up to 64,000.
Yeah, yeah, 46 to 64.
Yeah.
She's like, I only needed 25. I said, well, you can take 25. We don't think we'll have any problem getting you 25,
Yeah.
but if you want more, you can probably get more.
So
And
her
so,
hard work pays off, because she's
oh
been
yeah,
working really hard on her credits since before 2020.
yep,
And look at her now.
yep. Look at
And
her now.
being very careful with keeping a very clean, and high score for such a young age.
Yep,
She's remarkable to me,
yeah,
and
it was
just you can see her drive as an entrepreneur.
definitely. So where we left the call yesterday with her was, she says, I'm going to redo my projections. I'm
I
going
know.
to redo my marketing plan, knowing I have more available to me now. So she's going to decide exactly how much she wants, and then she'll get back to us, in a day or two, and tell us what to go get for her. So we'll go get it for her. But that's really, it was a nice surprise to be able to already tell her, well, you qualify for a lot more than what you've been hoping for. So that comes from good credit.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
And she was so eager also to know, okay, how can I start creating and leveraging my business credit? And we were like,
yes.
you are in the
Ah,
right place.
we love talking about business credit.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's a whole separate discussion, and that webinar is available on demand 24/7 on our website otrofinancial.com. Take an hour and change the trajectory of your business. So yeah, we and her mom had already, like I said, had already watched it and was working on hers. Um, I want to point out here the difference between Coach K here and the amount that she qualified for versus a couple of other young entrepreneurs in the last 30 days who actually didn't qualify for any funding. And this is an important distinction, because one of the challenges of a young entrepreneur is not having enough credit history. You might have a great score, and you might have a credit card or two, but that's what they call in the industry a thin credit report or a
Credit
thin credit
report.
history. Yeah. And so we've had a couple people where they've had some starter credit cards, like the Capital One. So many people have a Capital One card with a credit limit of 1,000, right, or three
Yes,
thousand dollars,
that's not
and
enough.
that's not going to help you,
Mm-mm.
because when we do our syndicated line of credit, which is that 0% interest for at least 12
12
months deal,
months.
right? Yeah, we get somebody maybe up to $120,000 in new
Yeah.
credit. We have to look at the existing credit cards they already have. We take the three most recent cards that they've received. We average those three credit limits, multiply by three, and multiply by five to get the range of what we think we'll be able to get. And we're usually really good with that number. But if somebody's coming to us and they have a $500 Wells Fargo card and a $1,000 Capital One card, we're not going to be able to get them much money.
And then they're
There's just
like, well, you're looking for $100,000. We
yeah, we're looking
can't.
for looking for $1 million. Um, but we just have to explain your credit history is just too thin. Um, go get a credit card. Go lease a car. Go do something to start building that credit history, and come back in 6 months or a year, and let's see what we can do. But that's the difference between Coach K and so many other young entrepreneurs, is she had already several good credit cards, like from the big banks. She had decent credit limits. And so when we did the math, we were able to see, oh, yeah, you could get up to 60 something $1,000 here, because of your credit history.
Yes.
So that syndicated line of credit program is not based on revenue. It's not based on time in business. It's based purely on how well have you managed your personal credit situation. So
Yeah.
it's a
Because
great option.
her income was of like an income of any
Right.
young
Right.
men or women. It
Right.
wasn't,
It wasn't great.
yeah, but
Didn't
her
matter.
credit history
That's right.
and on the amount of credit cards and the amount of credit limit that she had been using and paying on time and doing the
Exactly.
best she can, it made the
Exactly.
difference for her.
Yep, it did. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. So we've reviewed three different case studies here.
Yes.
What are our takeaways? What do we want our audience to remember now?
That there is place for young entrepreneurs and we
Yeah.
want them. We want them
Yep. Love
really.
the young entrepreneurs.
Yes, yes. And we are willing to have a conversation and try to mentor and guide them because we want to see them thriving
Yes. Yep.
nationwide.
Nationwide. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And you might not know what you don't know, and it's okay.
Yep.
Ask all the
No dumb
questions.
questions. No dumb
No, ask
questions.
all
Yep.
the questions. They're like,
Yep.
trust us. We have phone calls every day of people of all walks of life, all
Yep.
ages, and if
And
you were
we're
young,
entrepreneurs ourselves. We've asked
yes,
these questions in the past too.
of
So
course. So
yep.
yeah,
Yep. Yep.
young entrepreneurs who struggle with thin credit
Thin
history.
credit, as we just described, will if you don't have a good credit history,
Mhm.
we'll help you map out a plan to strengthen it and maybe
Yes.
get you more later.
Yes, and I think
Yep.
this is super important because one of the best gifts as parents and mentors that we can give our children is to be on top and in charge and know about their finances
Yes.
because it's going to help them in the future so much.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we have parents out there help prepare how they can help prepare their kids for good credit scores.
Uh, one thing that we did for our kids is once they graduated from high school,
Yes.
um, we helped them each get a credit card, and in each case, then we actually held on to the credit card. And from time to
Very
time,
smart.
I would go buy take a gas, or I'd go buy groceries with their credit card, and then I would pay it the whole thing off at the end of the month. And after a year and a half, 2 years, they had this sparkling clean credit history that showed usage, never a balance, but usage and immediate payoff. And so when they were about ready to come out of college, hey, look, you've got a killer credit score now. And
Amazing.
my daughter in particular, she asked me about a card the other night. She says, "Is that a good card? I get that offer all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, I know you do." So she gets she gets those offers all the time.
And that's a good sign when the banks
Very good
are,
sign.
yeah, are sending you those offers is because you're
Yep.
doing good.
Yep.
You're doing
Yep.
great on your credit.
Yep.
Okay, what else? So we can get started and never exceed those 45% of,
Yes, keep it on.
overutilization.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't want to carry a balance. I mean, really, you don't ever want to carry a balance. I know sometimes it's inevitable, but keep your balance under 45% of available credit. If you can't pay it off every month, keep it under 45.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after 6 months or so, if you're doing well managing your credit cards, go to the bank, talk to your banker and ask
Yep.
for credit increase. This will
Yep.
help you because if
Absolutely.
you have that idea, okay, I want to start a new business and I need
Exactly.
money,
Yep.
you will get more if you have more credit limits available
Yep.
to you.
And
Okay.
my oldest son earlier this week called me and he says, "So how often should I be applying for a new card?" I said, "Oh, every year or two." He's like, "Okay, I think it's about time." I'm like, "Well, when did you have two cards now? When did you last ask for a credit increase from those guys?" "Oh, just a couple weeks ago." Like, okay, it's probably about time to get that third card then to let the banks know that you're still around and you're a good candidate. So, okay, thanks. Yeah. And went to go get his next card. So
Amazing. I think in the financial industry and world, we have a huge responsibility to help our young entrepreneurs
yes,
since the beginning to don't make the mistakes that we did, first of all,
yep,
and
yep,
then to do it even better, to
yes,
be super prepared so they can
yes.
thrive.
As we always say, when you improve your credit, you pay less for stuff, right? Your loans are cheaper, your car insurance is cheaper. So many things are cheaper when your credit is good. So that's the most important thing we can ask or teach young people and young entrepreneurs is get that credit score good and keep it good. If you need some help, we can help you. We've got people who can help you, but you got to get it and make it good.
Yes, because we don't want to see anybody, not only young entrepreneurs, but anybody that really, when the time comes that um, they lose their job or they don't have any other option, and they say, okay, I'm going to go and start a new business, and they haven't taken good care of their credit,
Yeah.
there's no more options there because,
It's very tough to proceed. Yeah, it's
yeah,
tough to proceed.
it's going to
Yeah.
take a while, like a very long time to repair your credit and then start um, applying for funding options. So the time, like you always say, the time is now.
Time is now. The
Mhm.
best time was 30 years ago. The next best
Yeah.
time is right now. Yeah.
Yes.
So exactly. So
And we have our secret weapon,
we
of
have the
course.
secret weapon. Exactly. I was waiting for you to drop that.
Yeah.
If you don't qualify right now because of your own credit, the secret weapon is the cosigner program. We
Yes.
can work with a parent, a sibling, a spouse, a friend, whatever. If you've got somebody who loves you and trusts you, we have a cosigner program that will still allow you to get the funding that hopefully that you need, enough funding that you need to take that next step and start generating revenue as a business owner or to generate more revenue as a business owner.
So, young entrepreneurs out there, if your credit's still not as we would like to see, you still have a consignor program where
there is a
you
cosigner.
can,
Yep,
you can ask your mom, your dad, your sibling, your partner, your spouse, and then you can still go pursue your ideas and your new
exactly.
business ideas that you have.
Exactly. So, Carol, if the bank says no to somebody, is that the end of the road?
Absolutely not. Call
Absolutely not.
Ultra. We have options. We like to help. We're here to support you. And that it is definitely it's not the end of the road.
Not the end of the road. All right.
Hmm.
But I do hear the music, which is telling me it is the end of the road for episode 11. So,
Yes.
thank you for another great episode. And we encourage
Thank
everyone to
you.
go to our website, find more resources, other podcast episodes, webinars on demand, schedule an appointment with us, and let's see if what we can do to help you.
Absolutely. We're here
Okay.
to help. Thank you.
Until next time, Carol.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.